Okay, so I need to invite you. You 4 people waiting.
Okay, and see if you can change the name.
Oh. Okay.
But touch Mother Earth or whatever you want.
It's recording. 8 people are waiting.
Okay.
I'm going to admit all.
Yep.
Good morning. Happy Earth Day, everyone.
Good morning.
Where is everybody calling in from today?
Fuck, it says I need a meeting password. Ah, jeez.
Meeting passwords 041118.
Oh,
Dave,
4. Oh, 4.
141.
Start again. 04.
0141 18.
I'm sorry, I'm nervous. Start from the beginning.
0141 18. I just sent it to recycler.
I'm in. Looks like.
Okay.
Oh, but I gotta do it. I gotta do it from the phone. I am so not ready here.
You're right where you need to be, Dave.
Oh, you can hear me from Cheryl. That's good. We're gonna get me on camera.
Yes.
Okay, I just made you host. Got it.
Hello, New Jersey, Maria Lodge. We're in New Jersey too. We're up in Bloomfield.
You want me to? You have control?
Give me the password again.
You're in. I just made you host.
With that's just the camera.
You're in.
I need
It
it on
says
the. I
Dave
need
Miller,
to
host.
go on here, please. 0.
0141 something. I can't remember. Oh, I can't minimize Zoom. Okay, you're in.
Guys, just bear with us. I gotta get my camera working. We appreciate
We're trying to
this.
get Dave's camera working here.
It's all good.
It's working on my computer and not on his. So. Dave, you can talk.
I'm working on the camera, guys.
What a beautiful day to celebrate the earth today. The sun is shining.
It is in New Jersey. We're in New Jersey. Dave, do you want us to introduce ourselves while we get set up?
We want to get this recorded first, so hold on. My first time doing Zoom directly, so we're going to learn all together here. How is everybody doing?
5 days.
Right. What a sweet dog, Yulia.
Thank you so much. just relax on the couch.
Oh,
Can you hit record, Cheryl?
What? You're recording. Oh, yeah, I'm recording. Your sound just went off. Hey, everybody, we're still waiting for Dave to get all his technology together. This is my first Zoom meeting. So just bear with us a minute.
okay.
Let's see, we discuss we could start basically. I have no idea what he was
Well,
going to do.
everybody could introduce themselves. Go ahead, you guys. You can introduce yourselves, even though it won't be recording right yet. Okay.
Oh, sorry, my microwave went off right when I unmuted myself, so I might as well introduce and then mute myself again. My name's Maria Lodge. My company is Asana Wellness. I teach yoga, I do Reiki, I do Thai massage. So I've been doing a lot of Zoom, Reiki, and yoga. So I'm happy to join everyone. From Delran, New Jersey, Burlington County.
Cool. All right, Cheryl, can you add me in now?
You've been in there as host.
But that's from my phone.
So I'll go next. My name is Dhyana Kluth, and I'm a homeschooling, unschooling mom up in Bloomfield, New Jersey. And I've also been studying, learning, practicing, and teaching all kinds of Eastern and Western traditions and healing modalities for mind, body, and spirit. And physiological health and well-being, and very, very concerned and in love with this earth and wanting to care for it and dream a better future for all of us.
And I'm the Reverend Wendy Kluth. I'm a holistic therapist and medium, psychic intuitive, and my wife and I work together, and we do couples counseling, as well as I do one-on-one sessions with people, therapy, as well as readings. And, you know, we're really happy to be here. I'm really excited to be able to talk to all you guys about the time that we're going through, and maybe we can give you some insight about what we believe is happening and how you could apply your energies and work together to build a better earth for all of us. I'm really thankful for Dave and Cheryl for organizing this.
All right, guys, give me a second here. Cheryl's working out getting me in. I can see you guys. I can hear you guys. You can't see me because we don't have a camera, correct? She's working on adding me to meeting. Actually, I'm going to see if I can do it. Oh, she's got me muted. Oh, there we go.
No, I can hear you, Dave. You're muted because it would be giving feedback off of hers because you're both there.
I was. Well, you can hear me because I'm using her computer.
Yeah.
But I'm. Let's change the picture here because we're, even though we are part of Anti-Nanco, we are using their Zoom, so we want to give credit to Anti-Nanco Earth Art School, Olga Scher, who is the host. And it's really an honor to be able to do this. So before we actually get into the gist of the meeting, and we'll hit click at it, let's go back and through everybody else who is on. And actually, if you guys don't know me personally, could you let us know if you know Cheryl or how you heard about it? I definitely know how Dhyana and Fred heard about it, and I welcome you guys. You are in the right community here. We love you.
We love you too.
So I'll just give you a little quick second here before we go to everybody else. We actually ordered a microphone and camera because my PC computer doesn't have one, but you know, Amazon is doing food first and personal items second. So it might show up tomorrow, it might show up later today. So we're very fortunate that we can use it. I actually am waiting, once she invites me into the meeting, then I'll be able to go to my phone and you'll be able to hear me directly from the phone, and I'll be able to control the board from there. So who else is here? The woman who's a homeschooler, how did you hear about us?
Oh, that was me. That was Dhyana.
Oh yeah, okay, sorry. Who else do we have on?
Hi, this is Jenny Carrington.
Hi there.
Hello all, my name is Jenny Carrington. I am calling in from Los Angeles, California, and I am the co-founder of an organization called We Are Mother Earth, and we're looking at stewarding large amounts of land for building communities of the future. So we've been identifying lots of different affiliate organizations and partners who are already doing great work so that we don't have to reinvent the wheel to design and build these communities of the future. And that means practitioners, it means innovative technology, it means architecture, it means you know, homeschooling and unschooling. So there's so many components of what we're doing, and I'm grateful to be a part of this Touch Mother Earth virtual festival. Thank you, Dave and Cheryl.
All right, looks like I'm in. We're getting a little feedback, so we're going to turn the volume down. All right.
Thank you, Jenny. That's really exciting. I got chills listening to you talk about what you're doing.
Just to give you a little idea
And the call
about,
for that community to gather. So the seed is planted. So be it. So it is. Bring it.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I forgot to mention I just finished walking across America. So I really am planting seeds for radical collaboration. I'll be speaking on Thursday. And, you know, my parents are in Bloomfield, actually. My dad is in Bloomfield. So when you said Bloomfield, I was like,
Oh,
I got to get them tapped into you guys.
yes. Oh, it's really great to make your acquaintance.
Yes, nice to
So
meet you.
Jenny, I actually met through Permajam. Cheryl, you got to turn your volume down. Back here. I have to turn my own volume down. Do that. Oh, let me see. All right, guys. I'm still going through.
Mic on, that'll suffice. So if you're logged in 3 times or 2 times, just have one of your mics on and we can hear you fine.
I understand that, and I turned mine down. She's got her computer and her phone, and then I've got my phone. Is that better now? No, we still got
It's still a
echo.
little echo. I think if you mute
turn your
all
volume.
of them but one, you'll be good.
All right, I'm gonna have her turn her volume completely off so I can turn mine up. All right, how's that? Still getting echo somewhere.
Keep talking.
I just want to. Where am I getting the echo from? I should be the only microphone off. Oh, you know what I can do? I can mute Cheryl. So let me figure out.
Oh, it's the Antinanco Earth Arts login is still on. There we go. Now, Dave, turn yours on. Okay, try
Can you
that.
guys hear me now?
Yep, perfect.
And I can see me now. All right, this is beautiful, guys. So, Jenny, as I mentioned, I met through Permajam, which offers classes in permaculture. So I do highly recommend them. John Lee Rooker runs that. He will be on later today doing Native American ceremonial music at 5:30. So you want to check that in. And as Jenny mentioned, she was inspired, and she'll tell you at some point her story. Hey, welcome to it. We got more on. So this is great. This is great. I'm seeing myself both in my computer and also on my phone. So the phone is what's really, so you can get my voice and everything. And I apologize if it's a little hoarse. We have put together this event kind of by just a whim. And before I give you all my details, could everybody else, one by one, see Miss Rosen? Who else is here? We got.
Hey, I'm Valerie. Hey, Cheryl. Hey, Dave.
All right. Tell us about yourself and how you heard about us.
So I've been a couple times over to your home for some of the workshops. I've known Cheryl for going way back to Ann Dungan days. I'm interested to hear the presentation today. I was doing some workshops and some activities with Genesis Farm up in Blairstown, deep ecology, journey to the universe, that time of work, and they stopped all that. So I've seen this group. I know it's in Homedale. I'm in Middletown. I'm interested to understand more about this group and what's going on with it. So thanks for hosting this, Dave.
All right. Constantina, how about you next?
Hi, Dave. It's me, Connie. Do you remember from the drum community?
Oh, yeah. You moved up into New York, correct?
I'm up in Catskill, yeah. Yeah, so I got tagged and I figured I'd check it out and see what's going on. I believe we all need to get a little closer to Mother Earth. And I hope more people wake up during this pandemic to realize that.
This is beautiful. I gotta mute me again. How about Alan? Alan, you still there?
Sounds muted.
Hi, this is Alan Ritter. Can you hear me?
Yep.
My name is Alan Ritter. I met Dave through some of his festivals, maybe 10 years ago, something like that. I run a, I'm getting an echo.
Working on that.
Dave, you want to tell everybody communicating to put yourself on mute.
What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mute everybody but speaker. Alright, I got most of you guys muted.
Hello?
Alright, I'm gonna start again.
Hello?
Alright, give me 1 second. Can you hear me, Alan?
Yep.
Well, I'm the only one in here. Everybody is muted.
Okay.
Alan, are you on a speakerphone, correct?
Getting some feedback, I think. Are we good now? Should I talk now?
Yes, Alan, you're clear now. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. One of the things that I do is I run a thing called the Produce Club in the Philadelphia area, and I buy wholesale produce directly from the wholesalers. This basically is an affordability issue, so I'm able to return a pretty sizable savings on organic produce to the members of my group. I reached out to the main provider that I use for organic produce recently, and they said that they can deliver to the Homedale area. They also said that they can deliver to the Poughkeepsie area, and that they actually do a lot of work, a lot of supplying in the New York City area. So there's some details as far as minimum purchase. And I'm interested in being active and growing a community with this group.
Thank you, Alan. You know what? I think I gotta just turn my volume. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, George. George Durinsky, you're unmuted.
Hi, everyone. Sending love, light, blessings. Be at peace. The most important thing is that if you relax and be at peace, you'll vibrate that out to more other people. So it's important that we just kind of relax, take a deep breath here and realize all technology is going to all fall into place and it'll be okay. And we can move on with our community into greater spheres of interrelationship. In the meantime, though, be at peace, take a couple deep breaths and just relax and sink into somewhere in your heart, you must have love. So I want you to feel the love in your heart, wherever that is, and just go into that vibration, just vibrate that for a little bit. We love you.
Thank you. George has been, hold on guys, bear with me. Turn it back down again. Okay, let's see who we're gonna have next. George, I'm gonna put you on mute. And we're gonna go to Carla. Carla. You there, Carla? You there, Carla? No, I did the wrong one. Hey, Carla. Hey, Carla.
Hey. Hi, everyone. Namaste. I'm joining the opening of this beautiful festival in my pajamas. Yay. The physical body is recovering from a series of some very interesting events. I won't call them unfortunate. They just are what they are. So I'm just taking it easy, but I so appreciate being able to beam in. And I just love the ingenuity and the passion and the resourcefulness of my brother from another mother, Dave Miller, and the only man I've ever gotten down on my knees for, FYI. And he's a very, very special human being. I believe in his spirit and have been really, really honored to support him for all these years. So I'm beaming in from Central Jersey and looking forward to supporting with some meditative practices during these next few days that we really help to. It's very easy to spend a lot of time in the physical body and in the physical realm, but that we also take some time to not only remember, but to connect with our other beautiful aspects that put the whole human together, the whole being of light and love together. And so that's hopefully those meditative practices will help with that. Grounding into the earth. Looking forward to the offerings here. And I just wanted to hop on while I still get my day started and just be in support of what the discussion about how we can continue to be community and even stronger community, even though we have this physical distance. And again, it's amazing. This time really is, it's the question, it's time for us to answer. How much do you associate with your physical self and your physical life? And the way that we come through this is going to determine that, if we can stay associated to our infinite self and the parts of us that are beyond the physical, we find that we will come through this as even more evolved humans, individually and collectively. I'll just leave you with one of my favorite quotes from one of my teachers, and that's, it's not what we go through, but how we go through it. Love you all.
Thank you, Carla. Thank you, Carla. So, seems as I'm going to turn my volume up to hear you guys, and you guys get the feedback. Let me turn it back down as long as my phone's okay. So just quickly, Carla, when she said got down on her knees, she runs Garden Healing Yoga Center where we do monthly drum circles. And a few years back, I believe it was at Christmas time, she got down on her knee and presented me a box. And I swore to God, I thought she was going to propose to me. I couldn't figure it out. And she presented me with the key to her center, which was quite an honor to be able to actually have that trust and honor and come in and set up events of my own and close up. And so Carla, the blessing, the way I actually met her was I saw that she was having a woman named Alessandra Bologna come to the drum circle, teaching the frame drum in the Italian sense, and it was really quite amazing. And I said, we have to move our drum circle over to you. The second Saturday was born, and that's been going over 5 years now. And Alan and his good friend Shelley Swartzis, I think I'm pronouncing that name wrong, but he approached me with the idea of the food club, which is a wonderful idea. You guys can check it out later. And then George Dubinsky has been a big supporter back when it was the Kindred Spirits Fair held at Mount Eden, and has followed us through Touch Mother Earth. He is a wonderful photographer and videographer, and he also brings his joy and love to all the events. He brings his angel wings and flags, and we've got many pictures and videos of people just streaming around the fields and at the beach and wherever events are. And it's just he just brings that love and light, as he says. And then Diana and Fred, Cheryl and I met when we went to an event in November called Reclamation of the Earth-Based Ways, held by Anthony Earth Art School, that was going on at Columcille Park in Bangor, PA, which is a place that has the megalith stones. And while we were there, as part of the American Chestnut Restoration Project, we planted, I think, 40 or 50 trees. I lost the number, but hundreds of trees have been planted in various locations due to the, the efforts of Obishare, the director, was director actually now, Joe Resch is taking on that position, and he goes regularly and checks out the trees and watches their growth and reports on everything. So everybody's just, they come from a really hard place, and it's just amazing. And then Jenny, as I mentioned, through Permagym. Now I have here, let's see who else. I have somebody here with a phone number that ends in 8383. I'm going to unmute you. Can you introduce yourself? Let me see.
Dave, that's my mom.
Ah.
So I'm going to try to get her to, Mom, can you hear me? We can probably hear you if you talk.
I can hear you, but I can't say anything.
It's okay, but we can hear you.
Yes.
So introduce yourself.
I am Wendy's mom. I live in Florida, and I am super fascinated by everything all of you are talking about. And so I was just hoping I could join you, what just happened, and I'm thrilled to be here. End of story.
Beautiful. And then we're going to go, let me go over to Wendy.
Hi, everybody. I'm really glad to be here. I met Dave about a month ago. I led a discussion forum that he joined and invited me to be a part of this event. So I'm very grateful to you, Dave, for bringing me into this community. I'll be presenting tonight at 6:30. I'm an educator and a writer, and over the past year, I've been working on a community gardening initiative, trying to bring the gardens back to the garden state. I live in Highland Park, New Jersey, and I'm really very glad to be part of this conversation and to connect with everybody and all the work that we're doing. I think it's just more apparent to all of us than it's ever been before how important this work is. Even though we've all been highly aware of it for a long time, we're certainly in an unprecedented place with regard to what's happening to our home. And so I'm looking forward to our discussion and to how we can be a resource to each other to bring healing to all of us and our world. So glad to be here. Thanks, Dave.
So you'll be on at 6:30. Can you give us the name of your presentation for folks who want to find it?
Sure. It's called Everyone's Farm.
Beautiful.
And that's at 6:30 tonight.
And then I see Cheryl's in the background. I'm going to unmute her. Hey, Cheryl. Can you hear us? I think she's choosing to participate in the background. And that's fine. I think we got everybody. Looks like we do. Valerie got to speak briefly. Did you have anything else you wanted to? Valerie, is there anything else you wanted to add?
No, I'm just interested to see what's going to be presented here. There's a lot of interesting and people coming from different kind of backgrounds. So I think it's going to be great. Thanks, Dave.
All right, thank you, Valerie. Okay, so I am Dave Miller. I created Touch Mother Earth, and then got married with Cheryl, and the two of us took it to the next level and created Touch Mother Earth as a New Jersey nonprofit. And we will be going for our 501c with the idea that we can create educational programs. And it's quite an honor for what we do. You know what? Cheryl's going to go on. She just gave me this, so I'm going to unmute her. There you go. Hey, Cheryl.
Okay. I can't hear. Most of you know that I'm hard of hearing, and so I'm having a lot of trouble on this one. But anyway, I'm Cheryl Glover. I'm Dave's wife, and I am a Reiki master and Qigong and author of the book Creating from the Soul, and I do workshops, and I am co-owner and co-producer of Touch Mother Earth Productions. And we are sequestered in Florida together in a 1,000-foot condo. So it's been interesting doing production for a 5-day festival, only 5 feet from each other, where normally we're at least 100 feet when we're home in New Jersey. So this has been great and fun. And the real thing is we're on a honeymoon. So we got married in December. So this is a lot of fun. And I'm so glad you all made it. We kicked off at 11 a.m. this morning. We go for 5 days. And it's just a wonderful, wonderful, heart-wrenching event where everybody is giving love to everybody. So I'm glad you all made it. Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to unmute you guys in a bit so that everybody can go forward. I'll give you a little bit about myself. When I grew up, I had the pleasure of watching my mom and dad plant flowers together. And a story that I had forgotten about but recently remembered was when my dad picked up one of the 6-packs of flowers and went to put them in the ground, he realized that there was a volunteer maple helicopter seed that had fallen into the 6-pack and sprouted. And he decided, hey, it's a plant, let's put it in the ground. He found an appropriate spot, and I lived in that house for another 18 years, and as that tree grew, so did I. And I had very fond memories of climbing that tree. When I left the house, it was probably 40 feet tall. And that left quite an impression on me. So that was my introduction to the earth, other than the fact that I love to play outside and watch the plants. Actually, when I was a real small kid, I used to take a garden hose and trowel and make my own creek. So I would dig a trench and fill it with water and watch what happened. And when I was 12, we had a swimming pool that didn't make it over the winter. So Dad threw it away, and here was this big circle that was filled with sand to support the pool. And he said, what are we going to do with this? Because it's sand, you know, you're playing grass, it's not going to look the same. And he said, why don't we plant cucumbers? So we did. And those cucumbers grew and grew way past the original circle. We'd mow around them. And at that time, I was an entrepreneur, and I would take my cucumbers in my wagon and go to the neighbors and sell them at 10 cents each, 3 for a quarter. So now gardening took on a whole nother level. From age 13 to 18, I had a bicycle business in the backyard. And when I was 16 and then 17, I was still gardening 15 minutes ago with drive. And I found somebody who was throwing away window sashes, and I put them all in the car and took them home, and I built a greenhouse. And all I needed to do was buy a few 2x4s to attach to the main frame, and then I hung all the sashes on it and grew everything inside. Started even earlier that way with great success. I later moved to Somerset, where I had an acre on the backyard the size of a football field, and at its peak, I had 2,200 square feet of garden, 60 different kinds of tomatoes, and the rest leave your imagination. Then I moved into a place where I didn't have a garden, and I learned to do container gardening, and that actually was a decent substitute. During the winter that I had finished the container garden, a woman called me and said, I really appreciated what you did. You gave me some of your extra plants. How would you like a bigger space? And I thought, sure. And she took me to a farm known as Hopeville Farm. And there, the owner, Avi, allowed me to work 3,000 square feet of land. And I learned the tractor, and I shoveled all the horse manure from the horses there. We had a pile of aged manure, and we tilled it into the soil. And we planted and planted and planted and planted. And that summer, there were more than 50 days where the temperature was over 90 degrees. So basically, I sat there and watered and weeded, but we had a lot of good. We had a bounty of crop there, all kinds of squash, heirloom seeds that I remember from El Salvador and more. From there, I moved to go to a conference put together by NOFA, which is the national organization, the Farmers Association, and they were having a meeting that actually members went into Rutgers and trying to decide organic standards. And I got to be one of the people who raised my hand and said, my mom's a 1-year cancer survivor. She's gone vegetarian, but her concern is that her food is organic. And I think that the labeling needs to be fair and just. So somewhere in some recorded history book is my opinion. I then became part of Kindred Spirits which was a fair that lasted for 13 years. I was the music director for 7, and I was responsible for picking some of the environmental programs and some of the speakers, including Robert Coleman, the Not Milkman. We had vegan speakers, we had all organic and vegetarian food. And when that stopped, I felt a void. So I went into protest for Monsanto, and that started up, and brought my drums, and we went through that for quite a while, a couple of years. And then I was asked if I wanted to take it on. And I said, you know, this 4 hours getting together with a rally and some signs isn't working for me, because if people go home and go back to their lives, we're going to do this right. We need something where people can meet and talk and find solutions. We need to purchase something like a solar pack that attaches to their backpack, or other ways about compost gardening, about 3D compost, etc. And that's where Touch Mother Earth was born. So I was given permission to go back to Mount Eden, even though the owner had passed, and we had a 3-year run there. And still in the works that we might be able to buy that property one day. It's was up for auction and nothing happened. But you never know. So that gives you some of my, more extensive history. Now, what made me inspired to do this event that we're doing today was an article I read. It said it's the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. And I'm wearing my Clearwater shirt because I believe in having clean water and safe food and all of those things that we want for ourselves, for our kids, and for generations to come. And I thought, that's it. We'll have a 3-day festival, we'll have workshops, we'll have quality vendors, and we'll be able to make a dent. People will find links to websites, people will find things that they need. But when I found out that because it was 50 years and nobody can meet, the parks are closed, and the article said this year is going to have to be virtual, and it choked me up. And as I said, that's it. We don't even know if we're going to have Touch Mother Earth this year in September. So let's just go and do it for Earth Day. And Cheryl said, why not every day? And so we looked at the calendar, and Earth Day being Wednesday, we said, we'll go for 5 days through Sunday. And in the period of just 4 weeks, we've amassed 160 different presentations. We have people from Australia, from England, from Mexico who are participating in this. We're going from 5:30 in the morning until 1 a.m. the same day. So this is a void that we really need. Get choked up here, but it really is a void. And so the topic today is, what is this new normal going to be? What are we going to do when we can get back together and gather, and socialize, and have our meetings again? Because things aren't going to be the same. There are going to be people who will not get their job back. There are going to be people who were homeschooled, and the parents are going to say, we like this, we don't want to go back to a regular school. And they'll either create their own homeschool programs, or they'll join a charter school that has similar beliefs. And I honestly believe that we're going to pull out of this, those of us who really care about the earth, stronger. I believe that we have the opportunity to make the changes that we need to make. I know that we're not going to have Bernie Sanders as president, but I believe in his programs, free education for all, eliminating student debt, which is crippling the younger folks right now. There are kids who choose not to even go to college because they don't want to rack up $100,000 in debt. So I would like to hear what other ideas people have of how they envision a new a new America, a new universe. I mean, a new world. We can bring about socialized medicine. We can make sure that these programs are in place if we get the appropriate president who's open to these things. We can prevent the clear cutting of forests. We can prevent the taking of Indian lands. We can make sure that the parks are not having their land taken for mineral rights and war. And we can actually bring solar and wind into our systems, build better cars, even if we are using gas. So I'm going to start with Jenny. We are on Mother Earth. You're a sister aligned with us. If you're there, you want to give us some ideas?
I am here. I was listening and also transplanting some plants. Dave, I want to just say thank you so much for sharing that story. It really touched my heart to hear your beginning and your foundation and your roots. So did you want to ask me a more specific question, or do you want me to just kind of take a minute or two to talk a little bit about our vision?
Why don't we start with motivating you to take a walk around the U.S.?
So there's a lot of divisiveness in the country right now, and I think that the topic of climate change was really affecting deeply our disconnection between the coasts and the heartland and the root of agriculture. It has such deep roots in the center of America. I was really drawn to want to learn about where our roots come from, because I am not a green thumb. I'm a businesswoman. I am an entertainer and a performer. And when I met Dave at Permajam and I met John Lee Rucker, I felt out of place in this community because I felt different and I didn't feel like I knew enough to fit in. It didn't feel accessible to me. And so coming to Permajam was one of the first times where I felt, welcome. And then I went to Touch Mother Earth and I felt welcome. And I thought to myself, I really need to hear and understand why people are resistant to this type of holistic education and learning. What are their narratives? What are their stories that they're living in? What stories are we living in that we're resistant to them? So I marched across America, literally on foot, listening to people's stories, listening to their understandings of God and nature and their vision for a new world. And the conclusion that I came to was actually very simple. We all want the same things. We want family. We want great food that makes us feel good. And we want recreation and activities that make us feel joyful, purposeful, meaningful activities and work. Those three things are the key things that all people want. So in order to do that, we do need to dramatically redesign the way that our system is working for us. And there's so many organizations doing it on their own in silos. But what there is not is an infrastructure to let those organizations work together and come up with the best designs for these communities, the best practice on a large scale. So our organization, We Are Mother Earth, is utilizing this challenge of this crumbling economic infrastructure as an opportunity to redesign our internal communication systems, our urban planning systems, and our community planning systems to measure outcomes that are based in well-being, clean water, clean food, and positive emotions.
Shay, that is awesome. Dave, if I can jump in here. Thank you, Jenny. You really speak to a practical answer for some of the questions that I wanted to start with. have us focus on as we consider what seeds we want to plant and what we want to grow. You know, before we begin to plant anything, it's important to consider the soil, to nurture and look at what soil the seed is being planted in. And so if I can take it even back further, beginning with ourselves and the making sure that we are coming from a center that is connected to the earth and the sun and the universe, and planting that seed in a fertile soil that, you know, we have done the work of examining our thoughts and our influences, because our thoughts are what got us to this point where we've nearly destroyed the planet and each other and ourselves along with it. And so coming back to that seed thought and cultivating that soil is the first step. And then we consider, well, what then are the seeds we are planting? And it's beautiful that you went and really talked to people to find that common core of, you know, what I wanted to bring up is, what are our unmet needs? Where are we failing to meet the needs of our earth, plants, and wildlife? Young people, mothers and fathers who are entrusted with their care and development, our communities who support these families, our elders who have an abundance of learning and life wisdom to offer those of us who have not lived as long, yet whose needs require extra caregiving. And then the programs and organizations and businesses that support all of this life on earth. So, you know, when we tend to and heal ourselves as a whole, we enrich the soil within us and prime ourselves and our cells to be a fertile bed for growth, renewal, and tap into this infinite possibility, this primordial, like, fertile forest that the earth can be, and envision and hold that vision, and in all the ways that we are each brought here to do so, you know, whether a business person, a gardener, lawyer, you know, in all the facets, the myriad aspects of this holistic life on the planet, ways we can work together. And that's also beautiful that you are holding that vision and practically laying the groundwork for people and organizations to come together and work together in that way. That's integral.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I love your insights about creating the fertile soil within yourself. I found that there's a couple things that are key to being able to actualize this message, because there have been earth stewards and protectors and, you know, lovers of humanity around for centuries, right? And yet capitalism that has been exploitative is still thriving. So why is that, is the question that I ask myself. And so my thesis paper was on self-love and turning the sort of the movement of the 60s and the idea of love into an epidemiology. So we're in the state of the coronavirus. We're talking a lot about the epidemiology of a virus. A virus is actually very adaptive. A virus is actually very intelligent. We actually, as human beings, need to be just as self-aware, adaptive, and intelligent as a virus, and we can spread as quickly our values of love and compassion and care for the earth as a negative, you know, or, you know, negative is anything really negative. I don't know. It's a part of us. We created it. But we can do that if we understand ourselves better. So that was the core piece of that. So the conclusion I came to was we have to speak multiple languages. We need to speak the language of science. We need to speak the language of art and love and compassion. Those are the things we know, but we also do need to speak the language of business. And one of the unmet needs I see in the community of Earth Stewards is that we're not always we're great at organizing, but we're not always great at infiltrating the business sector. So my role here was to really understand how we can use media and a positive spin on, you know, what do we say? Propaganda is what we're getting right now. So how do we use media in a proper way and with integrity to have our message reached, you know, in a viral way?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. I just wanted to say thank you, Dave, for holding space for me to talk a little bit about that. If anyone is interested, I will say there's a very easy way to start getting connected with me. You can text the words Mother Earth to 64600. If you write, I'll put it in the chat. Text Mother Earth to 64600. That has our website, my business card, my bio. I'm working very closely with Cheryl. Cheryl has been outstanding at helping me use, you know, her business skills to help really plant this vision and grow it. So Cheryl, thank you so much for all that you do. Dave, thank you so much for holding this space. And I look forward to hearing everyone else's thoughts.
Hi, Wendy. You got a dream. How's your vision? I know you're going to talk more at your own workshop, but you can always ask. You want to talk about your garden itself?
Sure. I'm sorry, did you say my garden?
Yeah. Or what kind of gardening?
My personal garden?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just thinking, because I was jotting down some thoughts as Jenny was talking that I wouldn't mind sharing. To me, unless you really prefer I talk about my garden, I'll leave it up to your discretion.
Right. No problem. I will just pass on one thing. When I was in a Zoom meeting with her about 3 weeks ago, one of the discussions that came up was you can't buy seeds right now. Just like you can't buy toilet paper and certain food, eggs, etc. in the grocery store. The seed companies got bought out early. Places that were getting 50 to 100 orders a day are getting 1,000 orders, which is actually in a way a good sign. It means that we're going to have a lot more victory gardens this year. But at the same time, it does, you know, it means that we have to consider our supply versus the need and be prepared for things at any given moment. I know we have seed banks, and this might have been the time to release some of the seeds to the public, given that, you know, food is in short supply or being ordered anyway. So, what, you know, Wendy, do you want to at least share a little bit about how you see the future of our country and of the world in general?
Sure. I actually, these two different tangents of thought connect for me through the garden. Yeah, I shared that story about the seeds with Dave because I ran into that personally. When all this started to unfold, whenever it was it 6 weeks ago? I don't know. A lot of people are having a hard time keeping track of time, I'm finding. Even my 20-year-old son is like, what day is it? We have to think really hard. Time is getting very skewed and blurred. But when all this started happening, I just went right to food. I'm like, there is going to be such a crisis. And the whole impetus for me to start this gardening initiative about a year ago grew out of my experience directing a nature program in which we created an organic farm. And as an environmental educator, that really honed my interest in sustainable agriculture and just sustainability in general. And so I've kind of focused my energies on that since then. And to me, it's so simple that we have a food shortage, we have unemployment. You know, these are two basic needs. Create jobs, growing food is just, to me, such a simple solution, yet I know it's not, you know, for political reasons and all kinds of things. I get that. But if we could just kind of put all of that muck aside and just get to the basics, how like great would that be if we could just, you know, and through gardening, in my experience teaching kids, especially kids who come from a city where there's not, you know, a lot of green and they haven't maybe been exposed to a lot of nature. It was amazing to watch these kids come alive in a way that, you know, when they picked a cucumber off of a vine and ate it right there, to see the connection spark within them was an amazing thing. And so with the idea of creating a community garden initiative, it was to help people understand the connection between ourselves and the earth in a way that's very meaningful and personal. And in that this earth, aside from all of the aesthetics of why we should appreciate nature and cherish nature and our interdependence with it, there's something very, very powerful about planting a seed and watching it grow into something that ultimately sustains us. And that in itself can be a very healing and empowering act. So that was, you know, my motivation. And then I did some graduate work last year, which helped me hone this vision to a more sustainable model, actually. And certainly when this all kind of unfolded, for me, this was a project that was already on the front burner, but it was like we turned the flame up really high underneath it all of a sudden, because it was just, this was something that needed to, in my mind became something that was such a great need. And so that was the impetus for me to create that discussion, where I met Dave a month ago and just kind of talk about this idea more and help people understand how we really have within us the power and the ability to become more self-reliant and to take our spaces, even if they're not set in an idyllic kind of place where there's a lot of green and pasture. You know, I live in a semi-urban town, and so my garden is all of 10 by 10 feet, but I'm doing a lot in containers right now as well. And so there's much you can do even if you don't live in a place where you have a lot of land and you can grow your own. So this this idea really flourished, and the idea of, you know, victory gardens came flooding back to my mind as I realized what we're going to need to take this into our own hands. And this has never been more apparent than I think it is right now. And soon after, we just started seeing, and I'm sure you've seen so many articles about victory gardens and panic buying of seeds. And this one particular company where I was purchasing seeds, my order was delayed and I was concerned they hadn't even gotten it. And so I called them and he said to me, well, yeah, I mean, we typically get 60 orders a day and we're getting 3,000. And that was about a month ago. And seed companies have been overrun, as well have people buying chickens to raise chickens so they can have their own eggs. So this has caught on very, very quickly. I mean, Miracle Grow came out with a commercial about the victory gardens I just saw over the weekend. So this is, you know, the idea of the importance of doing this has caught on very, very quickly. So that's the garden piece. As an educator, I see everything through a teaching lens. I'm a teacher in my core. So for me, everything is a teachable moment, especially, and this is no different. This is, I think, a huge teachable moment for all of us right now if we tune in and we heed the lessons that are there for us. I think that we need to define or maybe redefine what it means to be human. I think that our disconnect as a species, that we typically think of ourselves as maybe the smartest, most capable species on the planet. Whether or not that's true, we don't fully know. However, we certainly are quite powerful, and our ability to, you know, for conscious thought and to make choices, which may or may not, to the extent of knowledge that we have so far, set us apart from, you know, the other creatures in our world, have given us a tremendous sense of power. And so we've really grown so disconnected from the natural world that sustains us. And, you know, we can see where that has brought us. And I really think that one of the things that has contributed to this is our sense of fear and our ability to think and to realize our inherent sense of vulnerability in the face of nature, which is so powerful. And I think that has contributed to our need to control it, which is, I think, ultimately us trying to control our fear and vulnerability. And in that sense, I think that we've exploited so much out of trying to, I think, protect ourselves. And so, as it's been discussed so far about the importance of turning inwards and to understand ourselves more as human beings, and what makes us unique, and think more carefully about what our capabilities are and how we should be using them in the interest of sustaining and nurturing life as opposed to destroying it, I think is really critical. And I think too that soil is a tremendous metaphor. I mean, air is air, you know, whether we pollute it or not. Air is air, sun is sun, you know, light. Water is water, but soil as a metaphor itself, that's something that we work, and that's something that we can collectively create, whether we build it up through all those means that we know are good for it, or whether we poison it through those means that we know are bad for it. Soil is malleable. And the soil of the self and the soil of the earth, I just think the soil of the self is really a microcosm of the soil that is the world. And I think that schools, coming back to my teacher self, I think schools are the seed beds of society. And we know, you know, all of the imbalances that have existed in education for a long, long time are only playing out on a societal level naturally. I mean, what we're feeding that seedbed in terms of our schools is what we're growing as a society. So in the interest of not talking too much, because I could talk for a long time about this and I don't want to, you know, take too much time. But those are some seeds I'm throwing out there too in terms of where I see these connections and how we need to attend to them with a new mindset born of greater wisdom and insight as a result of what we're going through now. Not that this insight hasn't existed before, but like the victory gardens, where that idea has always been there. We could always grow our own food, and we could always contribute to the, you know, to our self-reliance, but we haven't until now, when it's really driving that home. You know, we're kind of being pummeled by this idea, or I should say these truths, which are eliciting the ideas through this experience. You know, I think it's no different with the others, ideas that I mentioned as well. It's just that they haven't been propelled to the forefront because we've been distracted by so many other things, but now this is really bringing it all to light. So I'm going to just stop there because, again, I don't want to go on too long. But
thank you, and we're up against the clock, so we're going to have Alan go next.
Hi, everyone. What I'm hearing and what melds with what I am thinking is we have a lot of unmet needs, and our present our present supervisory body certainly has a vision for how things work, But within that, there's things that are missing structurally, and we basically need to empower ourselves to grow into sort of a balance, sort of a counterweight, sort of another voice, another way of doing things that is on, that you could see as being another body, another quote unquote guild or something like that, that would be out there and would, so the, if you want to look at it and say, okay, the government is one way of doing the business, and there would be another voice, there would be another organization that would be in there, because I basically look at the what a government is and how it is all about divide and conquer, and how it is about fomenting fear and basically creating distrust. And I think that we need another organization that is the opposite, or antithetical to what government is as a creation. So I view this as an immense growing opportunity. I view this as very, very positive, because there's been an opportunity to see government in a very raw form. They were handed an opportunity to supervise an event, whether you know, regardless of how you think the event started. They were given complete latitude about how to run this event, and they chose to run it the way that it's come out, 100% fear, 100% supplication of the public, and disempowerment, and all those things. But that's basically just showing you what they do and how they do things. So it says, okay, we have given over power about ourselves to this way of doing business, and we're all, for the most part, I believe, in this meeting because we say, hey, that does not meet our needs. So this is our wake-up call to say, okay, we need to move into a space where those needs are being met. And it's my personal viewpoint that they can't be met by a device that runs on divide and conquer and fear tactics. So as far as, yeah, I think I talked about my business earlier, so I'll just stop there. Thanks so much.
All right, we're running up against the clock. Can we get Connie?
Am I on? Yeah, hi. Yeah, basically, Wendy said a lot of what I've been thinking. So thank you for putting that out there. I feel like this is a really good opportunity to educate people. And I don't even know where to start with that, but I've always felt that the way we've been living was totally wrong, and how the family unit itself has been divided, and that creates a whole set of problems all by itself. But now that in my community, I'm seeing families walk in the streets. I've never seen my neighbors in the 3 years that I live here. And I thought this was beautiful, and it would be nice to reach out to these people and educate somehow, you know, while they had time to stop. We all had a chance to pause and rethink our lives. I think this is a really good opportunity to rethink. And the thing is, some people just have no clue. They have no clue because we've been moving so fast for so long. You know, I talk to people here and there, and they're like, wow, I never even thought of that. Because we've been conditioned to believe that this is normal. This is the way to live. You run around all day like a chicken without a head. You go home, collapse, and get up and do it again tomorrow. But and we've lost our connection to the earth in general. So that's it. I think we need to educate people. That's what I feel like I need to do. I don't know where to begin, but I think if I just listen to some of you, I'll get some really good ideas on how to do that.
I definitely am amazed at what everybody's contributing, and I think we're going to need to continue this meeting
at another time, perhaps in 3 weeks, for those who want to
Can
join
I
in
add one
at
thing?
another conference.
Dave, I'd just like to add,
Please, Fred.
just really quickly, I think one of the things that we're all being called for right now is to be of service. And what we're going to be faced with as the governments try to reopen us is trying to go back to normal, whatever normal is, which is the reestablishment of capitalism and the reestablishment of kind of, the ways things were. And as we're in this time of self-reflection and concern about how things are going, I really find myself asking myself very deeply, how can I be of service? And, we have these callings, and we all have these big, we all want to do so much in this world. And I think really we have to reiterate what has been said today is our first calling is for our loved ones and our homes and our gardens and our inner lives. And then the second calling is to the community. We have to get right with ourselves so that we can be of service to the people that need us. And service, and reiterating this, like, what does it mean for me to be at service? Sometimes it is, waking up early and providing my family with breakfast or juice, whatever it could be. Or it's being supportive of the people I'm seeing struggle at my job, or my friends that need to be reached out to. And from this, we can grow and ripple out this love and support that this world needs.
Oh, it makes a big difference in the amount of energy we have to be able to do the business of caretaking the planet.
Beautiful. So what I'm going to do, we didn't have time to watch a video. I know some of you have seen it because I sent it to you separately. It's a 5.5-minute video, and I will post the link to the video in the event itself. In this particular event, and it'll also get posted in the main event. Because right now, we're all going through grief, whether we realize it or not. The 5 stages of grief, the denial, the bargaining. We're all going through that, and we have a choice. We can either go in the direction of life sucks, or we can make it better. And it's up to us to make those changes. As a group, we are waking up. We are on a very necessary cause. We're seeing that Earth will revert back to itself just by seeing all the animals that are in roads and in towns and areas where they wouldn't go because of the traffic of the cars and afraid of people, etc. And we haven't learned, as indigenous people have, to live in harmony and not destroy the plants and the ecosystems and all. And if we can use this time and this knowledge and move ourselves, propel ourselves forward, and use everything that we've learned while we're in this quarantine, that we can be a better society. But probably it isn't going to go back to normal. We have to be careful that the rich don't get richer. The pharmaceuticals are already advertising on TV that they're working hard. I see Pfizer saying they're working diligently to get the vaccine. And it's just, we can let them be the money grabbers, or we can take it piece by piece with how we spend our dollars. And by doing things in a communal fashion, whether that means when you plant your garden this year, plant an extra row and donate it to the food bank so that it can go to the less fortunate. It's the simple little gestures that we make that will have the biggest impact collectively. So I thank everybody, and we will do what we can to create another time for this, because the lines of communication have been opened. And I thank you all. I seriously thank you all, and I hope you take time to enjoy all the other events that are going on. We've run over at least 1 or 2 that I was hoping to be part of, but you know what? That's what it is. We have plenty of options now, and it's for us to act upon them and reach out to our fellow human beings after we can go back, check in your neighborhood, ask them what it was like during that time when you couldn't talk to them. You couldn't go in their house and have a cup of tea. And, fortunately, with digital technology, we do have the ability to stay connected, and we've learned that we're being pushed in that direction. And as a result, Cheryl and I are creating Touch Mother Earth Productions, which will be our digital arm of everything we do. We will bring you house concerts where the musician is up in the Poconos and you can all listen anywhere in the world. So thank you, everybody. We need to end the meeting unless there's anyone else who has a last minute rule they want to get in.
No, just thank you, Dave.
I have, Dave, I know we're super short on time, but if everyone has 60 seconds, I have a literal 60-second video to share.
We can do it.
Yeah, okay. So I'm just going to share my screen real quick.
While you're pulling that up, can I ask Dave, is it possible to somehow we can share our contact info between all of us?
Yes, what you can do is write to us at Touch Mother Earth Productions at gmail.com. All right.
Okay.
Katie's working her magic here. And then Connie, I won't forget about you.
Where is the video? Okay. Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Let me rewind. Pod for school. It's the growing center. You can grow food year round. The Music and Art Center. We're going to be teaching kids about the climate and about how to grow container foods or a garden. You're going to be able to basically go on nature walks like you did when you were young and did, Project Adventure. The smart greenhouse consists of a double layer solar bubble technology, which keeps the greenhouse at a climate control year round. So you can actually grow tropical foods and plants all year round. This smart pod actually is being designed and built for schools, but also for all different sizes. There's the larger size for a farm as well as for industrial size. And when Wendy, I think, said to create jobs by growing food, we actually can do that and are doing that. So for anyone who is wanting to get on board that train, it's happening.
Jenny, could you post that in this event so we can share that video?
Right now,
huge problem if you.
I'm actually waiting on written signature consent. I have written consent, but I'm waiting for contracts to be signed with the architects. So I can only I can't share the video in a way that can be downloaded. I can share a YouTube link.
Great. Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to share it.
Yeah,
that was so cool. Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you for putting that up.
I don't know that this chat, I guess I have to, I don't know that the chat will stay up once we close. So Dave, is there a way that people are getting connected?
You can put it in the event page of the Facebook event itself, and we'll be able to go back in and see that.
Okay, I'll do that.
Great.
Okay. Yep, no problem. Thank you guys for giving me that extra 60 seconds.
Thank you.
All right, take care.
Take care, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
We actually have another Zoom already started 10 minutes ago, so I'm really sorry, but we have to.
Okay. Bye for now. Thank you, Dave.
I don't know how to shut it off.